Good evening and welcome to all. Thank you for coming on tonight. We're also joined on a normal team with our council. The council Steve Hart, who is from Somerset. You have to know our council here. Steve has experience of the situation down at Winford, and he's prepared to come and talk to us all about that. And hopefully we'll get some good, perhaps I don't know. And he's also the person from Somerset who is responsible for the bus services, and I'm up in number 55, which some of you may also wish to praise. But before I do, I really would like to clarify the position of Winford Parish Council. It was not our decision to select the manor for the hospital. My first knowledge of it, in fact, was when my wife looked at Facebook and saw something on Facebook, and she said, "Oh, you better look at this." And we did. And then I asked Paul and the right to North Somerset, confirming that was going to happen. And I listed the reply on the back of those letters there. And you can read it for yourself. I don't wish to read, that's why I did give you copies. Pretty open about everything, but you can see that as a reply from Somerset. Well, given that reply, they contacted the Home Office. And the reply from the Home Office. Again, not very helpful. We then decided we would contact our MP, Mr. Liam Fox. Seeing his reply, he replied on Facebook. In fact, he congratulated Paul on the letter that she had sent. And in fact, that letter had gone to the Home Office as well. He also said, "Don't expect a prompt reply." And he was right in that respect. Overall, really, we're on the dark of what's happening in so different manner. But hopefully tonight we will try and answer some of your questions. But bear with us if we can't, because we don't know. It's not that we're trying to keep from anybody, it's just that we don't know. But what we will do is list your questions and try and get answers from the Home Office and all the manor. And then we will reply with what the best thing to do, I think, if you all agree, is we'll put those answers on our website as we receive them. So we'll receive them if any, but that's what we'll do. You can take it on from there. One other thing we have done, which I mean, is not being shared with everybody, that's a bit. We have lots of objectives and challenged the lawfulness of change of use of the hotel being turned into a hostel. There is previous legislation and precedent that suggests this is not possible. We don't know that yet. We've asked the Somerset Legal Department to give us an answer. When will that be, I don't know. You will also see the reply we've had from the You can also see the reply that we've had from the enforcement officer, who waits the judgment of the legal department to see whether he is able to enforce that comment or not. So again, how long that's going to take, I don't know. In the meantime, life goes on at the manor, and we all live here, and we all live with it. So, I think the best thing we can do is I can ask for your questions to be raised, and hopefully Steve and I, or whatever, can answer them for you. And the only registration we have somebody to ask us a question is Andrew Tyrant. So Andrew, could you lead for questions?
Good evening, thank you, Chairman. I live on Old Hill in the outside of Thornley. During my lifetime, the area of Winford and its surroundings has been characterised by a small village in a rural setting surrounded by working farms. As such, it does not have and never has had the amenities of an urban area, and those of us who have lived here and enjoy living here have accepted and enjoyed that lack of urbanisation. Until recently, Winford Manor operated as a hotel providing accommodation for tourists and travellers, including those using Knowlesgate Airport, and for weddings and conferences, and made a small but positive contribution to the economy. That use caused no concern to local residents. The decision of the new owners to enter into a contract with the Home Office to provide accommodation for asylum seekers has overnight changed the character of the area. A hostel, which I understand is the same use class in planning terms as a hotel, in my opinion alters the character of this tranquil area. Who is residing in this hostel is to some extent immaterial because of the lack of urban facilities. Culturally, this is a white Anglo-Saxon locality. Therefore, there is a lack of cultural access for the residents' recreational and intellectual stimulation and support pertinent to their culture. I note that transport by minibus is available to residents for journeys to and from Bristol, a luxury not afforded to the local population, now the bus service has been withdrawn. While accommodating families at Winford Manor might be seen as less challenging for the indigenous population, the requirement to provide local education will place unacceptable pressures on Winford School. Bored teenagers and young men have from time to time caused nuisance to local householders in all villages. But these people are known to the adult population and can be identified and suitably disciplined if they step out of line. Housing young males of a different culture at Winford Manor has created a climate of fear and uncertainty, particularly amongst female residents who previously enjoyed the freedom to walk, run or ride horses in the vicinity of the manor. There have been reports of female horse riders being accosted and intimidated and of unauthorised access on the private property by those clearly currently resident at Winford Manor. There are security personnel posted on the gate of Winford Manor, but it's not clear what their function is since the boundary does not have a secure fence, and little thought appears to have been given to the safety and security of local residents. I understand the Parish Council made representations to Liam Fox MP, but other than an updated post on his website where he states that he's taken up the issue as a matter of urgency with the Home Office and he will continue to press them, he has not provided any information on that progress, which suggests he has been ineffectual, something you should be reminded of.
And I asked him to come this evening.
No, it's not here.
No, it's not.
It doesn't come as a big surprise. The imposition of a refugee camp on my doorstep without any prior consultation or any apparent provision for council taxpayer safety or security is unacceptable. My questions, therefore, to the authorities and our elected representatives at district level and above are: what provision has been made to explain to those in residence at Winford Manor so that perhaps through no fault of their own because of cultural differences, they do not behave in a way that brings them into conflict with local residents and businesses? What provision has been made to secure the safety and security of local residents? And what advice has been provided to those going about their normal activities should they be accosted or intimidated by those housed at Winford Manor or find that they have incursions onto their property?
Well, yeah, good evening everybody. So my name is Steve Hall, I'm the District Councillor for Winford Ward, just down the road, and I'm also the Executive Member for, not the buses, but sort of highways and transport, but particularly public transport as well. And thank you very much for your words there. There's an awful lot to in what you said. And I mean, let's talk about the facts. So the reality of the situation is that as a local authority, North Somerset Council has had no say at all in the requisition of either the Holiday Inn or Winford Manor by the Home Office for use for these asylum seekers. So we've had absolutely no prior warning that those establishments will be taken over for asylum seekers, and no preparation has been given, no support has been given by the Home Office or the government for the local authority to deal with those residents that are currently there. So that's the first thing to say. That we've had absolutely no warning, and actually in Rington, I'll just answer this. So in Rington, the first that I was aware of was the Holiday Inn being used to house asylum seekers was when it became apparent on Facebook and on social media, the same way that you all find out. Basically, it was the same way I found out about it. But once we did know what was happening in Rington, and I can only really share the experience that we've had down in Rington, once we did find out the situation down at Winford, there are currently 104, I think it might be more than that now, 104 asylum seekers currently, all men, at the holiday in Winford. There was a convening of refugee charities based in Bristol, local residents who wanted to help understand exactly what the situation was there, and also North Somerset Council officers. And we've worked quite hard to try and understand exactly what the situation is. I mean, the reality is down there that you've got, there is no, those people have been forcibly displaced from areas of conflict.
What, France?
Yeah. Well said.
What, France?
Well said.
And we all know that that they are already in breach of planning laws because they've already closed one of the hotels that was operating as a hostel. It's already been closed.
If we just, I can't comment on the planning. I can't comment on the planning.
I can. I simply just rang the planning office and I asked them what was going on, as I live not very far away. I only found out very recently that this was going on, and when my conversation went over with them is that they were very reluctant to tell me what was going on, but eventually somebody from higher come and he says, we have been approached by the Home Office to find accommodation in Somerset for these people. And the hotel down there in the Winford Manor are two that I believe North Somerset chose. I asked them why the planning had been changed, and they said it had been changed from a hotel to a residential and commercial. That's what the planning in Western changed it to. That is only meant to go on to 2024 at the very latest. Now I only got that by a phone call, and it just didn't take a lot of finding out. You don't seem to have found very much out.
If you look at that piece of paper, you can see what the officer says quite clearly.
Yeah.
Well,
We understand that it's...
Clearly says that there will be no planning application made, and that they don't know whether they've got anything to do with it.
Apparently the planning has been changed. It's been changed from a hotel. It's against the law to use something that hasn't got planning permission. It's been changed from a hotel to a residential and commercial. From a hotel to a residential and commercial.
I mean, so we're talking about planning matter now, but there has been no.
And that's got to be, that can only
That's
go
an
to
issue in this planning, no one else can get away with it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
an issue.
So then that's up to the local parish then to issue a temporary stop notice.
We're not going to get anywhere if everybody keeps shouting across the mindset.
Can I just say something?
I mean, the best way to do next thing finishes out, so we can ask them whether it's
I'm really happy, I'm here to listen to people's views. I mean, if people want to have their say, that's absolutely fine. And I can just sit here and listen to your views. I'm really happy to do that. I'm also happy to share with you what I understand the situation to be in Rington. And I'm also happy to talk to you about some of the residents at the Holiday Inn in Rington, because I've met quite a few of them, and I've been working with them quite closely for several months. Now, you may not want me to tell you any of that stuff. That's absolutely fine. I'm really happy to hear your views, and so if you'd like me to just stay quiet while you tell me what your views are, I'll happily take notes and listen to them.
Could you just clarify the planning?
So, to the best of my knowledge, there has been no planning application made by either the Winford Manor or the Holiday Inn, nor do they need to make one, I don't believe. I understand from Richard Kent, the head of planning in North Somerset, there's been no application forthcoming. I think you've had a message from the enforcement.
Yeah.
Said there's no breach of planning. If there was, obviously,
No, they don't know if there's been a breach of planning, and if they're instructed, they will.
Okay, so we definitely look to see if there's been a breach of, we need to make sure that it's lawful. I'm really happy to take an action away and speak to the enforcement team to make sure that they are kept on the right side of the planning. We have plenty of planning enforcement issues in North Somerset without too much. I'm really happy to pick that planning issue up and take it away. So, sorry, I think this gentleman over there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you dealt with some of the refugees with this only region. Do you think they're going to pose any risk to the community from your experience?
In my experience, no. So the reality is that we've got, in the world, there are 90 million people who are forcibly displaced from their country of origin in 2021. They are escaping the
No, I understand that, because most of the European countries have come here from European countries.
Yeah.
So they went there first point of all.
But
They
there's
didn't
no-
want them, so they've come
But
here.
there's no law that says they have to stay in the first country.
Yes, there is. The first safe country. Yes, there is.
No, there isn't.
Yes, there is. I beg to differ.
How do you feel about the community losing their liberties after dusk, walking their dogs, jogging? How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, I don't believe that there is. I don't believe these people present a risk to the local communities.
The nose is getting longer.
Can I just ask that question? Can you carry out a risk assessment? How would you know there's a risk or not risk?
Because a lot of them have already dumped their paperwork overboard as they're crossing the channel. So you know nothing about them.
Well, how do you carry out a risk assessment?
If I could just finish, if I could just deal with one point at a time. So let's go back to day one, right? The first I knew that there were asylum seekers in Brington was when a local resident contacted me and let me know. There is nothing that I can do to stop the Holiday Inn or Winford Manor being used by the Home Office whilst people's asylum applications are being dealt with. I can't do anything about it. So we're dealing with the situation as it stands. Now, I could choose not to engage with any of those people, absolutely. I can choose not to engage with the Holiday Inn and leave them there. But we have instead chosen to engage with them and to try to give them some support because they don't get any support from the UK government. So if I could just go back to what I was saying at the top of the call, there are 90 million people forcibly displaced from persecution, from wars, from conflict. And I have met some. You look at the Ukrainian situation. So this government has decided to help Ukrainian refugees, which I agree with. I think that's a good.
But they're not Ukrainian, are they? So let's not skirt around. You are trying to skirt around an issue.
I'm not.
You're trying to say there's 90 million people displaced in the world. They have not been displaced from France. Let's stick to the fundamentals where these people are coming from.
Where are they from?
Okay? You know nothing about them. I've covered this for years. The migration. They dump their paperwork overboard on the channel when they sail in. You know nothing about them. They set fire to the Rington. You don't. You know very little. Yeah. They've set fire to both the Holiday Inns. You know that, yeah. Do you want to see the footage?
Sorry, it's really important that we listen to these guys and also we have our say, but it doesn't really help how you show to know what.
Well, when they're lying to you, blatantly lying.
I know a lot about what's happening I agree with the Ukrainians. Let's not get into that politics. Tell us about how security is being handled here in Winford. That's what concerns us. We've had incidents, lots of incidents, various incidents of issues of security. Right? What is in place and what's going to be put in place in terms of security? We know that these people have got problems, and we can emphasis on that. But as the first speaker said quite eloquently, this is about the security in our own area. This is about inappropriate placement of these people. So let's talk about what's being done about security, who's paying for it, where you said there's guards on the door. Is that
I've got no idea. I've got no idea what's happening.
if you've got no idea about what's happening in these places, let's talk about what we can do.
So in terms of
security,
the Holiday Inn, the way it works at the Holiday Inn is that the Home Office put in their own staff. So effectively, the hotel, the hotel staff are still there working, but there's another layer of security that's put in place by the Home Office. It's not paid for by local council tax. There is nobody from North Somerset in place there in terms of security. The security is provided by the Home Office, And also the police have got a relationship with the so the police are making regular visits to the hotel, as happened in medical practice. So there is security there, but as I say, it is not the responsibility of North Somerset to provide it. It is the Home Office. It's a Home Office hotel for asylum seekers. Now, just going back to the previous point that somebody was saying about it not being appropriate, this area not being appropriate, I do agree with that. I mean, I think this is the last place on earth you should be putting, 100 asylum seekers. They are coming here, whether you like it or not, they are coming here traumatised from war-torn countries. Lots of them have lost their families to conflict. And then because of never this is the reality. And we are not, I don't think it is the right place to put them. I agree with you, it is not the right place to put them, but they're here, and I can't do anything to change that. So I've got to work with the realities that are in front of me, and that is that in my ward in Rington, I have 100 asylum seekers who we need to help.
But if you're there to help them, you're there they're traumatised and all the rest of it. So what gives them the right to traumatise young horse riders, people the ones who are running, cycling, whatever? I mean, I for one used to ride my horse all the way around there, but would I choose to do it now? No, probably not. Because when I went out there before, there was two straight across the road, really confrontational, in our way, refusing to get out of the way. I mean, I'm not frightened if people want to wallop over the other stick. Why should you feel like you've got to ride your horse like that?
Well, of course you shouldn't feel like that, but I mean, I can only
So
speak.
if they're so traumatised and so distraught with what's happened to them, why would then they think it's okay to push that on to somebody else?
And what's happening is they're not being restricted, but we are.
Yes. Things like money and phones, and they're drinking in the Waterloo pub, drunk, adultery and war and things like that. They're not allowed to drink, but they are drunk, using cash cards.
But the thing is, they're asylum seekers, so they are escaping from
France.
France. Well, escaping from the battle.
If I could just finish. Okay, so I mean, I'm here to try and just give you some of the realities that I understand because of the hearing. I am not a spokesperson from the government. I don't represent the Conservative government. I didn't devise the immigration policy for the government. That's something you need to talk to Liam Fox about. What I'm telling you is what I understand to be the truth about the asylum seeker situation generally, and also in my ward in Rington. And I have met about a dozen of the asylum seekers in Rington. And the first guy I spoke to is from Iraq, and I spoke to him for quite a long time, and he is an IT consultant. He was an IT consultant in Iraq. And he decided to get involved in local politics. And what he was really interested in, whereas I might be interested in dog poo and, and 20 mile an hour schemes, he was interested in trying to reach
They are spinning you alive.
And in return, he was facing very real death threats. And he had to escape from Iraq, he had to leave Iraq, and by any means possible. And he left with a group of men and he said basically what happens is they'll meet each other on the road. A couple of them will meet each other on the road, and they'll just start walking. They've got no idea where they're going. They just start walking forward, and then more and more men come. And
Why no women?
His relatives.
Why no women? Where's the children?
If I could just finish.
I don't need to hear your story.
I think you've got a big distortion on the reality. So if you all want to see the truth, I've got footage from inside the hotels when they set fire to them, when they're self-harming in their rooms. I'll show you the footage.
No, you could be right. I mean, that kind of thing could be happening. It could be happening.
It is. They're setting fire to the places.
There will be some mental health. I mean, most of them don't get any money from the government at all. So
Lies.
They're not getting. It's not right.
Aspen card.
It is not right. They're not getting any money. They are not getting any money.
Well, I cover all the bus stop down here then, getting the free buses, the Falkland buses to Bristol.
So some of them get.
Not some of them, all of them.
No, hang on a second. Some of them get £8 a week from the government.
And the rest.
Some get £8 a week.
Each asylum seeker is given an Aspen card preloaded with £175 a month on.
I mean, look, We're clearly on a different, we're totally on, ideologically, we're completely on a different wavelength.
No, you're on a different planet. You're on a completely different planet.
We can agree with what the problem is with these refugees. But this place, what we've just said, and what the initial, the person who spoke initially said all of that needed to be said was our concern about the security. It's an inappropriate place. And it doesn't matter whether they're from Iraq or Iran, whether they're from Afghanistan, wherever they're from. It doesn't matter, it's immaterial.
It isn't
It's
immaterial.
an inappropriate place here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can go into the politics of it all, and really we should be protesting against the initial war because it's partly our fault. Yes, it's partly our fault, so we should be looking not there, not without any immunity. You know, if they've got problems, we'll create more problems for them. Because there's a bunch of young men in a group up there in an inappropriate place, and they're going to get into trouble.
I don't disagree.
So it's not about us, it's about them as well.
I don't
We've got there.
Yeah, I agree to disagree. I'm not what you're saying, I completely agree with you. And you have a choice, a moral choice. If they are there, and you were in my shoes, what would you do? Would you just turn your back on them? Or would you do somewhere appropriate? Well, I agree, but they do need to be somewhere. They do need to be somewhere. The government, the Home Office, need a process for asylum seekers that is fit for purpose. It is not appropriate, as I have said before, it is not appropriate to dump 100 men in a rural hotel, far away from any amenities or any professional help.
Just to give you some insight as to what I've been told, and if I've been told, so I don't know if it's true or not. There are pregnant women in the manor, there are families at the manor, and recently, you probably know, in Winford Church, there are a community of people are getting things together for people in the hospital to come and collect like clothes and all sorts of things, anyway, baby clothes and what have you, and they wish to know who or what are at this moment in the manor, because remember it's going to be a transit camp as well. As these people get called away to check their whether they should be there or not, the people will be in and out for a period of time, whatever time that may be. It could be 6 weeks, it could be a year. Nobody knows how long it's going to be. But there are mixed races.
Can I just say, I think most of us here, no one's answering my question. If you want to know how long is it going to go on, or is it indefinite?
Well, I've tried to say that at the start.
30,000's come in so far this year.
If you don't know,
It's not 30,000 so far this year sailed across that channel, and it's not going to stop.
Take your questions to the
Yeah,
Home Office.
absolutely.
The hotel bill is 1.3 billion already. They're coming out your taxpayers' money. So while we're all starving and can't fuel our houses, they're getting put up in places like, do you know how much it costs?
It's unavoidable.
We are as frustrated as you, and you know what I've got to do over the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
She's been buried,
Yeah.
and she doesn't get paid.
But you're our first point of contact. What else can we do? Because nobody has told us anything. That's right.
Reasonable and ask the questions, all record them, and we
Okay.
send them off and get answers if we can.
What's the position in the Holiday Inn in relation to educating those of a different culture, in relation to how they should behave, so as not to have conflict with the local population? That was one of my original questions.
Well,
Is there an experience of what's happening
yes, I mean,
in that respect?
there's a lot of support being given to them. So,
By who?
well, there are Bristol refugee-based charities, there are North Sunset officers, and there are local people who are wanting to help them. So there's a number of things that we're doing with the asylum seekers at the Holiday Inn. So we are doing English lessons, so they're getting English lessons. Religious reasons. No, I just answered the question.
Now, what I'm interested in is because they're of a different culture, they treat women differently primarily. I don't know what goes on in Mogadishu or Kabul or anywhere similar in relation to rights of property and the like. But there needs to be a clear understanding from these folk that if they behave themselves and they don't cause us any grief, we won't give them any grief. It's as simple as. They need to be in a position where they understand that harassing local residents on horseback running is not acceptable. They need to understand that incursions onto private property and what private property is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Now, if they're just wandering up and down Parsons Lane or down to Longcross to, if there was a bus service, or down into the centre of Winford, then they're not going to cause a problem, provided they don't impinge on the enjoyment of their quiet surroundings that we've been used to. So unless somebody's actually doing that, then at what stage is the local community going to take that on board and deal with those who are stepping out of line?
There's a lot of fair points there as well.
And who do we speak to if there is an incident? Who do we talk to?
Contact council.
Would be-
As
would be-
you would with anybody, if it's somebody else in the village.
Would it not be an idea for somebody just to go down and find out who's in there? I am 40, I've dealt with risk for 11.5 years. I live with Will Green. I live in Kingdown. I am one of the people that will not talk at night with my dog because of the situation. Could a part of this issue is, as you are, none the way there. Could somebody from the parish council or whoever go down with the central head, find out who is in there? Because that lowers the
If you have
revenue.
legal on that, if I'm trying to do that,
Yeah.
I have to contact them, so I'll be doing it. And then representation on another level, and you see the other part.
Right, it needs to
So,
be someone from the
one,
council.
I can just, because people do get carried away with emotions and everything. If we just go back, most people here want to know the facts, that's what we want to know. Then people can make that their own mind and their own decisions, and then see what further can be done with it, rather than the parish council, the local MP, whatever. The Home Office is not a secret society. So my first question is, has freedom of information request on the Home Office? From either North Somerset County Council or the local MP?
I can't speak for the MP.
That would be the first point. Freedom of information request needs to go in to find out what people here have asked. So, when was this approved? The owner of the manor took possession, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Just so people know, myself and Steve saying, well, in the luxury house, the White House is actually in the ground of the manor, and the perimeter of single fence. I have 2 daughters and a wife who regularly work from home, walk, run, cycle, ride horses with local friends, and they are concerned. Any person here, any woman here, or any man here had a woman and had 70 men living next door, regardless if they were English, Scottish, Irish, Dutch, French, German, or any other nationality, would be concerned. We all have a right to know. We all need to know what the timescales are, who's going there, whether it's families, children, young men, young women, old men, old women. We all deserve the right to know. From that, reasonable decisions can be made, and people then can form their own decisions and take their own steps, be it a cautious one, or if they wish to help, because I'm quite sure there's people that they would help if they knew. The problem that we all have at the moment, social media is a wonderful tool, but it does breed what I call excitement. People get carried away. I want to be armed with facts, and I'm trying to make that representation to the manor. Both the owners who live in Winford in London, and the business up in London have another hotel. Something else that struck me was how quickly it turned. They've only purchased that hotel, and within a week or 2, they were already making plans for these people coming in, and then they were there. I will say, as it stands at the moment in time, personally in my garden, in my grounds, I've not had any issues. But my daughters and my wife have been out with rape alarms, and I'm having CCTV fitted on Wednesday, just to protect ourselves and to make sure if there is an incident, I can control it, I can also monitor it, and then I can use that evidence for whatever it is needed. I would suggest anybody here, with any incident at all, phone the police, make it a police problem.
Yes.
The police answer to the Home Office, and the Home Office answers to the police. So that would be my personal suggestion to everybody.
But
We've
we
already
want to
had
try and
police-
prevent that from happening though, in the
Well,
first place.
Well, you have, okay, no matter what the gentleman says, I know he's met with people. report, there's no evidence that the gentleman you met with is an IT consultant who came from Iraq. Alright? You don't know that, this is what the gentleman told you. Now, we all like to believe people, we all like to believe stories and everything else. Unless you have the evidence, I'm with this gentleman here, where's the risk assessment, where's their names, what's known about them, what's not known about them. 99% of them, you would imagine, you may know their name, whether their name is their true name, I don't know. You may know where they come from, whether that's known again. I don't know what the evidence would be for that, unless they're carrying a passport or some documentation, which majority of them are. Some of them are. I actually know someone who's worked with asylum seekers down on the south coast, and he tells me that some coming in do actually have some information. The other question I would have, which needs to go forward, is if they are here and they're being processed, what is their requirements? What is their rights? What can they can't do? Alright? I'm quite sure if we were going into another country, any of us, without a visa or a passport, we would struggle to do anything. It appears at the moment they're free to do whatever they want, whenever they want. Alright? If they are being processed, how long is it for? How long is the process?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, very makes some really good points there. Everything you just said very eloquently. In terms of the speed of the process, it can take, as you said, anything between a few months to over a year. Some people are waiting more than a year for their asylum claims to be heard. I mean, anecdotally, I think on a national level, I think it's about 3/4 get their asylum claims approved, and then they get rehoused or whatever from there. They'll move on. In terms of sort of getting to understand what their needs are, and I think that's what we've been trying to do locally. We're trying to set up a team of people to help them, to try to understand them, to get to know them, to learn a little bit about what their plight is. And as I say, a lot of them are quite traumatised, and it's obvious that they're traumatised. Lots of local people have done things like donating bicycles or board games. They basically, when they arrive at the holiday, like a prison, basically, absolutely no input from anyone for anyone. And if you then in that sort of situation, it's not really on before one to see issues. So people have been trying to really understand and work with them, because we think it could be quite a length of time. There is an event that's being planned in Brington, like a community event for the community to meet some of the asylum seekers and to get to know them a little bit. And I think some of the asylum seekers are going to be doing things like cooking, cookery stuff, and music, evenings, and that sort of thing. To try to get onto a more human level, because at the end of the day, it seems like taking a more compassionate approach is probably the way to go, given that they are going to be here. We are, unless we can do something to change the government policy, we can't change the fact that they're here.
Excuse
But
me.
you make a lot of very good points.
Excuse me, my husband. I just have a different question. I understand there has already been an application to make this place bigger. Now, I think rather this meeting is a bit stable door after the other horses bolted, frankly, but it seems to me that how many more do they want? We aren't that big a village. Do you really want 7 strangers, let alone what nationality they are hardly matters. We're suddenly getting an influx of people that we don't know, and they want more already.
And instead of being a hotel where people are going to be buying locally, helping local businesses,
Well, they do come
we've
into
got
the
people.
shop, but I understand they come in with their cards, which I assume is taxpayers' money. So I mean, it's good for the local shop. We can all do is help us.
I'd advise anybody to do the same as Roy did, just phone up the planning department, because as I say, the planning department told me that there'd been a change in use granted. Granted, it was instead of a hotel, it was residential, which it had to be, because they're obviously claiming benefits for the people and they're not paying. So it makes us different. It's not a viable business. It's turned into a hostel. And the license, or what they never granted them, was due to expire in 2024. In 2024, he told me that it must be changed back to a hotel. So I'm taught, people need somewhere to go, someplace to sleep, whatever it is, they need somewhere to go. But I think the people here are more interested in what's happening to themselves, and maybe not sort of a soft touch on the people. We don't have anything against the people. In all honesty, I've never seen one. I live fairly close, but I haven't even seen one of them. I haven't, so It's all pretty new to me, so I did
Well,
what I thought would be the best thing.
Yeah, and we were in the same position that you are, you know, a few months ago when they came to the holiday, but, you know, in many ways, it's been quite a positive experience in Rington. It hasn't been bad. We've regularly seen them around the village. They stop and they'll talk to you. You know, there are some good relationships. I've seen being built, and it's quite nice. Education.
I think the main thing is now is mitigating the risk to the community. Like you said at the level, like knowledge is power. Like we can be informed.
Yeah.
Like at the minute, everybody's in the dark. Everybody's in the dark. But it does be something find out who's in. If it is families, then that does lower the risk for me, for my own risk assessment.
But that will keep changing as
I
the
know
papers
they'll
come
continue,
in.
but they can, you know, to start with, we do need to keep abreast of who's actually in there because we can, it is dynamic risk assessment, it's going to change all the time. But for now, who is in there, and then
I think the gentleman was saying, suggesting an FOI. I mean, I saw somebody taking some notes. I mean, I guess you can do an FOI to see if we can get that sort of information on who they are. I mean, they haven't had their asylum claims processed yet, so I don't know how much of that information we can get quite readily. I mean, I know with Rington they are all
If it's a transient site, you're never going to know who they are. Because
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something else that's saying, like, whether they, they seem to agree to
Yeah, they want-
isn't actually, so they are free to, contact, they,
Just do his own course.
Which will have friends and families that are here.
Just look around here.
So they are following us.
Probably what the government should take.
Now, I respect that you work closely with people, but you cannot, until we know for sure who these are, we're never truly going to know, because these people have fled war zones and they have come here, lots of them without paperwork, and you can create yourself to wherever you want to be. What we suppose to do is two things. One, total dialogue between the local community and the owners of Winford Manor. That is concerning. And we need to find a way of opening that dialogue as a matter of urgency. The second thing is you're saying these, they as their applications process, it's going to change, and who is there is going to change. So who is doing the induction? Who is working with these people to say, this is the local community, this is where you can go to the local shop and spend your money and spend, if they want to go to the principal and spend their money, provided they behave in an appropriate manner, like any of us go to the pub and the principal do, they're putting money into the community. But they have trespassed, there has been an incident with 2 young girls out riding, and who is making sure that every new resident that comes into Winford Manor is being inducted in a way that they are not going to present a risk to us, but they are also not going to behave in a way that is going to present a risk to themselves if they cross the line with us as a community, because emotions are very, very high.
Sure.
I live next to Louise. I didn't feel safe initially. We haven't seen anybody up near us yet. We may do, and provided they're walking along and they're perfectly pleasant, I will have no issue with that. But I am fearful, and I'm a 46-year-old woman, I'm a deputy teacher. I'm not somebody who's given to being afraid of things, but it's fear of the unknown.
Of course,
And when people are afraid, they react in unpredictable
I
ways.
understand that.
So, the question I asked, sorry, I ran with it. The question I had is, one, Parish Council, are you going to try and open a meaningful line of dialogue with the owner of the hotel and impress upon them the importance of this?
The answer to that, as you know,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes, thank you.
definitely.
Thank you.
But it will be with the parish council first of all, because
Yeah.
very obviously,
Yeah.
with 9,000 people there, we're not getting very far off.
No,
And
that's,
so I can promise you that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
have spoken to the owner, and he has offered that facility.
that's,
Okay?
and
We
then
have
the
to
second,
set-
yeah,
We have to set a date for that.
yeah,
And I
that's,
said, we will wait for this evening, so I've got your questions, your concerns.
Yeah.
He himself said he couldn't necessarily answer all of them. And get everybody up, I mean, this is,
yeah,
you're very present, it's all the back.
Yeah.
But I mean, we will take your questions, we just and then we give Andrew units.
And then the second, yeah, and then,
Sorry, I think that's really good about the university.
Yeah.
Is that North Somerset action?
Can I just sort of follow on that point, actually, if I could
Yeah.
build on that?
Yeah.
I think that's exactly the right sort of thing, it's the right
Yeah.
sort of approach. Is that what we need is a level of engagement with residents there. And the way to do that, I think, is probably through North Somerset, through our offices, the support that is being provided for the holiday, and that works for the community and for the residents, and also people from the community. So we need new people to come and help as well. So, we need people from the community
You
to
haven't
step
answered
forward.
my question about the increase in numbers.
I don't know anything about an application to increase the numbers. I'm sorry, I don't, and I wasn't, you were sort of saying, this meeting's a bit, the horse bolting onto the stables bolting, because we didn't know that they were coming to
No,
this.
that's
So I
fine.
don't know about expanding numbers, I can't tell you that.
Can you
I'm
find
sorry.
that out? Can you
I'll
ask
ask
them,
for you.
because I think it's probably
The
enough.
home office are not going to tell you which hotels they've got earmarked for future. It's a question for the boss.
Because the council, parish council.
We can, no
You
source,
can't do that.
no source, you don't have to parish council. Somebody's got a house.
Yeah.
More planning, I don't, one action, and then.
So it would be good to know the number of people that are there and the mix of people that are there at the moment. It would be good to know that North Somerset are going to come up and say, we've got people that can put together an induction for these people, and you can get people from the community to add to it, and come up with a scheme, but you have to deliver it. It's not for us to deliver it, it's for you to deliver it.
I think you guys need to be involved in it.
I thought it, you're not in it, and you should own it. Somebody's got to own this.
It's a community.
No, but the action has got to be owned by somebody.
Which action?
The action of doing the induction. Someone's got to pull the induction together, someone's got to lead it, that's got to be a North Somerset action.
I think it's more than just North Somerset. I think North Somerset are definitely involved in it, but I also think parish council have got a role. I also think the local community have got a role.
I agree with that, somebody's got to own it.
The refugees. Somebody.
Just go back. Carry away. This is a home office leased property now, is it not? The property's been leased by the home office usually, okay? So the property now is under the responsibility of the home office. So therefore, all the things you're asking for have to come from the home office. There'll be no funding from the parish council, there'll be no funding probably available from North Somerset to do anything. The owner of the hotel is not going to be doing much. Right? And the reason being is he's purely now got a financial transaction with the Home Office for a period of time of which we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
He sat quite nicely in his house, and one or two people locally have spoken to him at odd times, and he said he's a very accommodating bloke. If I just paid £2.7 million for a hotel, and I was looking to pay it off in about 3 years by putting asylum seekers in it, I'd be quite relaxed and happy. Okay? What's not remote, I don't think, is how much he's alienated the local people by not communicating. It's not remote. If you look at their website, when you first took it over, there's a big spin on about 2 or 5 star luxury hotel. That was just a ruse in probably a mask. What had already happened, that he made the application to the Home Office for it to be used as a hotel. I don't think the Home Office, someone sat in central London, when he looked up and gone, with the man, that's a good place to put asylum seekers. So he's obviously made that application, he's probably done it in his other hotel. That application, he must know someone in there and know what to do to do that. That would have been done prior to him buying it. He then realised that the man had probably at the time was going cheap. He then thought, I'll buy that, I'll set it up, nice financial transaction, within 3 years it's paid for, then I've got the money to turn it into a 5-star luxury hotel, or whatever else it is he decided to do. But going back to all the points raised, it's the Home Office, as I understand, and I lease this hotel. It's now the Home Office is responsible for the residents in it, their conduct, and also the communication with the local parish council, North Somerset, and the local residents. Therefore, going back to what I said, it's the freedom of information request which needs to go in, asking for all the points to be answered. And whether or not they've done a risk assessment, whether or not they've set things in place to educate and train the people. What are they doing to support both them and the local parish council, North Somerset and residents, for what now is clearly an unsustainable action both here, Holiday Inn, and I've heard the Sidcup Hotel might be going as well.
Yes.
And also they've gone in Paynton, Torbay, it's everywhere, not just here. I have a friend who lives in Torbay, they've got exactly the same problem there. So I think the more pressure that can be brought to bear on the Home Office, for whatever channel we can do, via the local MP, North Somerset, Parish Council, and just local people writing to them.
But that's the
I think it
problem.
needs to happen.
Nick Foster in Devon, he was on it
Yes,
straight
I
away,
agree.
and that's what we haven't got here.
And the Home Office have said it's not in the public interest to release that sort of information. I've already put in the freedom of information, and the Home Office booted it out.
Yeah, but ultimately, the Home Office in a minute is going to be what we sell it, because there'll be more issues, there'll be more problems.
Yes, exactly.
And so on and so forth. So it was only yesterday, at some point then, be it uses up your time and your money, or the Parish Council's time, or no money, but then the police and their time and money, that's what's going to happen.
That's right.
I think the time that we're going to do it is now, to put the pressure on them now, to put that request in, via the Liam Fox and yourself, or the Parish Council.
It will be through the box. You make some really good points. And there has been very little support given for local authorities and parish councils and home communities. It's almost like they designed it this way, to make it as difficult as possible, and it's how it feels sometimes. It's really hard, actually. In rural communities, to have so many people coming in like this who've been displaced from other countries is a very difficult thing to deal with, when you have very limited powers to deal with it. I know a lot of you've got lots of questions that we simply can't answer as a local authority, because they're not within our gift. And you're quite right to say that the Home Office has been very good support. There is a company that are managing the hotels on behalf of the Home Office. So what we do know is that the Home Office has a number of contracts with companies who do this, who manage these hotels. And I think the people that are currently managing the Holiday Inn are managing a number of hotels locally. I don't know whether they're managing the Winford as well. But so I accept a lot of your points. It's very difficult. We feel as though it's just been pulled right in the middle of your community with absolutely no forewarning or any kind of context.
Can I just ask, just really quickly, I heard an agreement now that Hugh, you've been down there and you know who was in the manor because you've been to the school to tell them, is that right? Just can't hear you. Hi. Have you been to the manor? Yes. Who is in there presently?
So I went to the manor and persuaded them to let me in as district councillor. And this is what I found. I asked how many people were in there, and the answer was 20 children and 40 adults. I was given a tour of the, I'll call them classroom. I didn't know they existed. There were 2 single-storey classrooms behind Winford Manor, out of sight. And in the first one, there were refugee families in there. There were 3 Red Cross ladies. So they were sitting at a table like this, and there was a mother in front of them, and they were obviously checking on the health and general feeling of that particular mother. A 4-year-old child was sitting on the sofa, looking bleak. Opposite was the NHS, also with 3 people, and they were obviously checking up on medical things, physical things, to get that sorted out. The owner told me gleefully he's managed to keep all the kitchen staff the same as served the hotel. So the people there should be reasonably fed. If you know Winford Manor, there are substantial walls all the way around. And I was shown how they've all been marked out for different outdoor activities, including football. So that's making good use of the grass. It worried me about schooling. It'd be much better if that child was in a preschool or somewhere with children their own age. So I double checked at the primary school. Any entry into the preschool or indeed the primary school would have to come through North Somerset in the normal way. And I don't know whether people are following that up. Oh, the other important thing is they've been supplied with a minibus, and that is intended to take them into Bristol.
Lovely.
again.
Lovely for something.
Our people don't get that.
Absolutely disgusting.
But that's another issue, isn't it? You know, we could be here all night.
I think we've got to remember that there are at least 6 countries in the Middle East who are faced with drought, starving, terrorist and civil war. And that's Syria, Yemen, Somalia, Ethiopia, Afghanistan and Lebanon.
So these are the people that are in here now,
And
they're from those countries.
yeah, I haven't checked on who's here precisely. But I have to say to all of you, I can't see these boatloads of refugees coming across the channel, given the situation. Because if you're sitting at home, father, mother, 2 children, you've got a choice. You either stay where you are and risk being blown up, or shot, or kidnapped,
I understand that.
or
Yeah, it's France. I've had enough of this shit. Sorry. They're sailing over from France. You're delusional people. Absolutely mental. Mental. Fucking delusional people. I've had enough of this shit. Delusional.